What's going on, y'all? We are back this week with another video, and this is going to be an Arizona Cardinals 7 round mock draft. The last time I talked about the Arizona Cardinals specifically in a video was back in the 2023 draft cycle where I did an NFC West 7 round mock draft with them, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. So this would be the first time I've done a 7 round mock draft for the Arizona Cardinals. I landed on them today and decided to do them because I think that they have a very interesting pick at 3. I think that they have multiple ways to go. Um, we just did the Raiders last week as well. So, kind of wrapping up this draft cycle. We're about a week and a half out from the draft. And it's been really fun. But I'm excited to get into this video. So the Arizona Cardinals have pick 3, 34, 65, 104, 143, 183, and 217. So kind of like a traditional, draft pick selection for a team, 7 picks. I think those would be spread out across all the rounds. Yes, they are. Yep. So they have all their picks from every single round, and that's it. No extra picks anywhere. Just that. So let's get into it. Let's look at the roster real quick. Starting in the quarterback room, they bring back Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, they let Kyler Murray go. That era is over. They fired Jonathan Gannon, brought in Mike LaFleur. He brought in Nathaniel Hackett, and they kept, oh my God, what's their Gallus, I think is their defensive coordinator's name that they kept. But I think all signs are, which I'll talk about this in a minute, but kind of all signs are pointing to Jacoby Brissett being their quarterback this year. They also brought in Gardner Minshew on a contract as well, to be the backup there. I did not know that Keaton Slovis got in for 5 plays last year. But that is their quarterback room, and I'll talk about their needs here in a minute. I'm just gonna, overview their roster. If you haven't been here before, that's kind of how I do these 7 round mock draft videos. I will do 3 different scenarios as well. So I'll do 3 different 7 round mock drafts for the Cardinals as well. Wide receiver room, the main two obvious names here are Marvin Harrison Jr., who they took in the first round of 2024. Oh, fourth overall. Yes, fourth overall. Let's go. And also Michael Wilson out of Stanford, who they got in the third round in 2023. Those are the main 2 guys. Michael Wilson kind of having a breakout year last year. He was still pretty solid his first 2 years, but really last year he kind of turned it up even more, especially with Marvin Harrison missing some time due to injury. And then behind those guys, they brought in Kendrick Bourne from the 49ers, who had an okay year over there in San Fran. They have Devin Duvernay, Simi Fehoko, Trajan Palmer, Jalen Brooks has played some snaps for them, and then Xavier Weaver also as well, who they drafted out of Colorado in 2024. Or maybe he was a UDFA, I guess, actually. In the running back room, they kind of overhauled this as well. Brought back James Conner, who was a free agent who missed last year pretty much due to injury. Still have Bam Knight and Trey Benson, but they also brought in Tyler Algier as well. Tight end room, obviously you got Trey McBride, who, in my opinion, I guess I would probably say he's the best tight end in the NFL, or maybe second best. And they also have Elijah Higgins and Tip Ryman. And then on the offensive line, I can't say his first name, but Froholt's his last name is their center. They brought in Isaac Seumalo on a free agent contract from my Steelers, to start at guard for them. They also have Isaiah Adams and John Gaines, who have played snaps for them. Right now, Isaiah Adams is projected to start at right guard, Seumalo at left. And then at tackle, they've got Paris Johnson Jr., their 2023 first round pick out of Ohio State, 6th overall. And then they also have Elijah Wilkinson, who they brought in from the Falcons, who is currently projected to start at the other tackle spot for them. So that is the offense. Moving to the defense side of the ball in the cornerback room, they've got 3 main guys there: Will Johnson, Garrett Williams, Denzel Burke. They also have Max Melton as well. And they still have Sean Murphy Bunting, who missed last year due to injury, on the roster as well. I think he may be. No, I think he still has some contract years left. I know Garrett Williams is an impending free agent after this year. They also have Keitrell Clark as well. And then Safety room, they brought in Andrew Wingard, how you say it, out of from the Jaguars. And then they also have Dadrian Taylor Demerson and Buda Baker as well. And then Keaton Crawford, I think is how I say it, played 142 snaps for them as well. They brought in Jack Gibbons from the Patriots in free agency. They also have Cody Simon and Mac Wilson Sr. in that linebacker room. And then on the interior of the defensive line, they have Andrew Billings, Jonah Williams, Roy Lopez, who they brought in free agency, PJ Mustapher, Dante Stills, Darius Robinson, who was their first round pick out of Missouri in 2024, or second first round pick in 2024, sorry. And then Walter Nolan, who was their first round pick last year out of Ole Miss. And then in the edge rusher room, they have BJ Ojolari, Jordan Birch, who was a third rounder last year, right? Yep, third rounder out of Oregon. Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, and Zaven Collins, with their special teamers being Chad Ryland, Josh Riccardi, and Blake Gillikin. So, with that being said, my needs for the Arizona Cardinals are the following. If you are new here, like I said, I will run three different scenarios here for the Cardinals. I might actually for fun run four for the first time ever, I think. And so how my needs work are I have four main categories. One is the needs category, like you need this position bad, in my opinion. The can upgrade category, where it's like, hey, I might be looking to draft this position, maybe not over spots in that needs category. Maybe it does because of how the board falls to you. And then the prep category, which means, you know, blank position is, or blank guy at this position is an impending free agent next year and you might not re-sign him, or this person's getting old, or in the Eagles case, AJ Brown is probably getting traded. So there's that. And then there's also the depth category, which the Cardinals just need so much things that I didn't even make a depth category for them. So with that being said, needs for the Arizona Cardinals for me, tackle. I don't really believe in Elijah Wilkinson, in at right tackle. So I think that you could use a tackle, and y'all will see in this first mock draft kind of who I've been, filling out for the Cardinals there at three. Um, Edge rusher, I think is a need. Supposedly Josh Sweat requested a trade. It's kind of been a weird situation going around there. Obviously, Zaven Collins is good, but he is an impending free agent after this year. And then Baron Browning and BJ Ojolari both haven't been great. Plus, they're both impending free agents as well. And then Birch didn't have a really good rookie year either. And then I just have on their needs list as well, kicker. I don't think we'll be drafting one of those today, though. And then can upgrade. I have right guard. I have this as a can upgrade because I know Isaiah Adams was a third round pick in 2024. Um, out of where did Isaiah Adams go? I do not know actually. Illinois. That's right. Okay. I have right guard on the can upgrade. Isaiah Adams isn't a great run blocker. And Hackett's kind of stuff that they're projecting them to run is kind of like a West Coast, pushing the ball down the field, wide zone running schemes, and bringing in Tyler Algier, who is in Atlanta in a wide zone scheme. Um, you know, makes me think, like you're probably going to run a lot of wide zone, and I don't know if you trust Isaiah Adams, especially when I don't think that right tackle position is great either. I think that's why they did bring in Wilkinson from Atlanta as well, for that. But I think you could upgrade at right guard for sure. I said IDL is a can upgrade spot as well. Their whole IDL room did not grade very well last year per PFF, including Darius Robinson. A lot of the guys are impending free agents that are in that room as well. And really, just outside of Roy Lopez and Walter Nolan, I'm not too high on any of these guys. Even Darius Robinson, like I wasn't super high on him coming out of his draft class. Um, and then I said linebacker, I think you could upgrade as well. I think Gibbons, Wilson, and Simon are all just around like an average. You know what I mean? I don't feel like their ceiling is too high in that room. I feel like their floor is pretty high as well, but I don't think the ceiling's too high. So I'm just saying, like, I think they could potentially use someone like kind of over a top, like a Sonny Styles, which is one of the scenarios that we're going to play with here in a minute. Also, Mac Wilson is an impending free agent as well. And then I have three positions in that prep category center because Froholt is an impending free agent. Plus, I think this is like year 10 for him now. So he's kind of getting up there in age. Quarterback, obviously, Brissett is older. It's also his last year on contract. And then safety because Wingard is only on a 1 year contract. And then Buda Baker is also getting old. And that's also been like an ongoing thing for I feel like the past like 3, 4 seasons now, where it's like Buda Baker is gonna get traded. Buda Baker's not gonna get traded, and then he never actually does. So let's get into the draft here. We're gonna start out. Arvell Reese being here is interesting. I kind of think he's gonna go at 2 to the Jets. But that's kind of a scenario I'm gonna talk about in a minute. But the person I've really been on here at 3 for the Cardinals is Francis Mauigoa out of Miami. I know there's some concerns with people saying that he's gonna end up being a guard, whatever, whatever, whatever. But it's kind of like the Will Camp. Why is this not working? I'm gonna reset it. Um, oh, it's just not working at all. There we go. Let's reset this real quick. I don't want to be the Steelers. We're going to go 7 rounds. Everything else is fine. Start draft. All right. Anyways, I'm going to go with Francis Mauigoa. It's kind of like the Will Campbell thing last year for me. And I know there's been a lot of Will Campbell slander after how he performed this year, but I do want to say that like I still think Will Campbell is really good. And in my conversation with Will Campbell last year, if you weren't around last year, you didn't watch his videos, whatever, was that the Patriots really needed a guard and a tackle. And everybody was saying Will Campbell's going to end up playing guard at the next level because of his arm length. I do understand the argument of that he should still play guard and he shouldn't start at tackle for them. And I understand the argument that maybe Francis Mauigoa should not play tackle at the next level. He should play guard. However, also Denzel Boston of the Seahawks at 32 is interesting. I like that actually, low key. But I'm thinking it's the same thing. I think that the Cardinals could use a guard or a tackle, both on that right side of the line, which is where Francis Mauigoa played his whole career. He did not play a single snap. He played 10 snaps at right guard this year, and everything else was 1,022, 913, and 866 snaps at right tackle while he had his career at Miami. So I do think that it makes a lot of sense for them to go him even if it is a guard. I know it's third overall. You shouldn't take a guard that high, whatever, whatever. I don't care, right? An offensive lineman, I think Trevor Sikkema from the NFL Stock Exchange podcast said it perfectly on one of their videos, maybe a month or two ago that I watched. Good tackles and really now guards don't hit the free agent market. They don't, right? You got to draft those guys. All right, just like they drafted Paris Johnson Jr., they go get Francis Mauigoa here to either start at. I think start at right tackle personally, but maybe it is right guard down the road. Then here at 34, I think this plays perfectly for them, man. Like, I think there's a lot of options here. If hey, they maybe you really want to invest in the offensive line and you take Emmanuel Pregnon here and he's your right guard. But there's so many options for them. There's a bunch of edge rushers on the board here. I do think Ty Simpson could be in play here at 34. I'm going to talk about a Ty Simpson scenario here in a little bit though. But I do see TJ Parker on the board. I definitely think that he would be my highest ranked player left on the board right now. Him or Pregnon, I think. Maybe Peter Woods. I do think Peter Woods could be in play here as well. But with having pick 65, there's some IDL guys that I think could be in play down there at pick 65, potentially like Grayson Halton, Daryl Jackson Jr., Dominique Orange, or maybe Dante Corleone, Caleb Proctor, Xavier Harris later down the board there at like 104, 143. And with TJ Parker being here, needs some edge rusher help. I think that makes a lot of sense for them to take him there at pick 34. I do think that maybe you could go IDL instead there and take an edge rusher here at pick 65. I did see that like Joshua Joseph, Danny Dennis Sutton, and Derek Moore all just went off the board though. So I think that does suck for them. I think Romello Height could be in play here actually as well if you did go IDL there at 34. But here at pick 65, we've got a tackle and we've got an edge rusher. Now I think you kind of look at that can upgrade prep category. There's not a quarterback that I would take here. All right, so we can go ahead and take that off the board. I do think Connor Liu could be in play. I think he's going to go in the second round, to be honest. I think he's going to go in the second round. I do think he's the best best center. I think Rutledge could be in play here. Like I said, really just upgrading that offensive line. Maybe if you're looking at safety here, prepping for the future, maybe Kamari Ramsey. I do feel like it's a little early for him. So I think that leaves us here with linebacker, which I'm not super high on the guys left on the board. I'd say Kyle Lewis is my best linebacker left on the board, but I think maybe linebacker is something that you target later. I think it's guard IDL here that you're looking at pick 65. Daryl Jackson Jr. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go Keelan Rutledge or Daryl Jackson Jr. here? Um, he did play right guard, but I feel like they would be more likely to take an IDL than a guard here. And I do think that there's some guards that maybe you could get down there at 104, 143 that have some like starter potential, like Billy Schroth or Bo Stevens. So I am going to go IDL here. Now the question is which one? I would probably say Dominique Orange or Daryl Jackson Jr. are the two best on the board. I'll go Big Citrus here from Iowa State at 65. All right, now looking here at pick 104, I see Garrett Nussmeier off rip. Um, I think it's is this a guard or is this a mm, I don't think you're able to get either one of these two at 143. Definitely not Billy Schroth, probably not Bo Stevens either. I doubt it. That then pushes me down to like a Marge Reed Adams, DJ Campbell range where it's like that's a shot in the dark. Um, so I think you might pivot here. Oh, Bud Clark's here. I think that's going to be the pick, actually. Bud Clark would definitely be my best ranked player left on the board, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to take him in future of Wingard being an independent free agent and Buda Baker getting older. Pick 143 here. I see Torian York. I mentioned linebacker potential as an upgrade in need. Um, and I think Torian York's one of the last like starter potential guys left on the board here for me. So I'm going to take Torian York. Um, I think Taylon Green's in play here for me at 183, 217. I think this is easy. I think this is a Marjorie Adams. Yeah. Two Texas A&M players back to back. He actually, in my opinion, I think does have starter potential. And then I think you can look quarterback here with my guy Taylon Green, pick 217, just get him in the room. Have another guy in there, with Minshew, Slovis, which I would take Taylon Green over Keaton Slovis personally. So I don't think that's terrible. We're not going to get a good grade here. I can see why Cardinals fans would not say that these are needs here. Um, but like I said, like this is kind of more of like a can upgrade in these two. This is more of a prep type thing. And I think these three are like, real deal things. I think Francis Mauigoa obviously plays right tackle for you. I think TJ Barker automatically gets in the mix there with Sweat if he's still there, with Zaven Collins. And I think that gives you the luxury to maybe not even have to bring Zaven Collins back potentially if Parker is what you think he can be and what I think he can be. I think Dominique Orange automatically slots in there and plays some snaps. Bud Clark. I think gives you upside. I think it gives you the opportunity to, not have to re-sign Andrew Wingard again or go get a safety next free agency cycle. I think it also gives you the flexibility to potentially finally trade Buda Baker. And then Torian York, just kind of like a depth piece in that linebacker room. I know I mentioned that I think they need somebody that raises their ceiling, and I don't think Torian York necessarily is this. I do think Torian York has starter potential though. And then Marjorie Adams and Taylor Green. So that was the Francis Maui Noah scenario there, starting off for the Cardinals. This time around, we're gonna go with a defensive player. And I think that's gonna be Sonny Styles. I think that's going to be Sonny Styles. The other one I'm going to play with is either David Bailey or Ruben Bain. I am going to go and take Sonny Styles this time around, just in case the mock draft simulator wants to take him to the Jets again, like it did a minute ago. All right, so now we're here at pick 34. We went Sonny Styles pick 3. That's kind of more of the realm. Him and maybe Jacob Rodriguez, I think, could maybe be in play here. That might be what I do next time around there at pick 34. Those are kind of the two guys that I'm talking about, and maybe CJ Allen as well, when I'm talking about raise that ceiling in that linebacker room. So pick 34 here. I think I'm gonna go with, I mentioned that maybe they brought in Wilkinson for a reason for that wide zone scheme with Algier from Atlanta. So maybe they're gonna want to start him, and maybe you don't want to replace Isaiah Adams. But I'm playing with scenarios here. I do think Caleb Banks could be in play here, by the way. So could be Christian Miller. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take Caleb Banks here. I'm gonna take Caleb Banks there at 34. See what the board gives us here at 65. Skylar Bell's interesting. I see Derek Moore, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely my best player on the board. We're just overhauling this defense right now, which I think realistically is what the Cardinals could do in this draft. Like, I realistically think that they could very well overhaul this offense a lot. I mean, sorry, I said offense because I was looking at Jonah Coleman and Drew Aller's name. Sorry, defense a lot. Here at pick 104, we went linebacker, we went edge rusher, we went D line. Three guys that I really think could start. We're gonna bring in I saw Logan Jones was interesting me prepping for Froholt. I wonder if we could trade back here and pick up an extra pick. No. Who else is interested in trading? Dolphins all the way back at pick 130. Could we pick up 151? I'm down for that. We're going to trade back here. I don't do that often in my videos. We're going to trade back to 130, pick up pick 151. This could very not pay off, and it didn't. Wow. I was hoping that. Oh, let's go. He's there. Bo Stevens is there. That's what I was hoping for. And then, if you've been around here, there's a guy I usually like here at offensive tackle, and he's gone. No, JC Davis went. Wow. So, okay, we went guard, we went edge, we went IDL, we went linebacker. I think this could be tackle because I did mention that being their biggest need, but I talked about maybe not. Maybe Isaiah Wilkinson does play. Isaiah, sorry, Elijah. It's definitely not Trey Zune the third here. Maybe it's Austin Barber. Him and Isaiah World are the last two kind of like intriguing guys that I think I would take here. I think what centers are here? I'm good on those guys. I think I'd rather take Pat Coogan at like 151 or 183. What about QB? No, I'm good. Safety is about the only option here. I think it's either safety or we take one of those tackles. Michael Taff, but I think we can get him later, man. Yeah, we're gonna have to go tackle here. Barber or World? I think I have World over Barber, but they're really close. I'm gonna go Isaiah World out of Oregon. And then what do we do here? See Kevin Coleman Jr. I think he'd be an interesting add to that receiver room. Do we go ahead and take Michael Taff? I think that's the move. I think Pat Coogan's gonna go before our next pick, though. That's what I'm worried about. Because there's not another center I really like with starting potential potentially. I don't mind Parker's Brailsford, but like we can get him at 217. Let's go Michael Taff. Let's go Michael Taff. Let's go Michael Taff. Yeah. We'll go Michael Taff there. Is Pat Coogan still here? He is. Let's go. Okay, I really like this draft now, actually. And then we'll go BPA. We could take one of the quarterbacks again. I'm not going to do that. We'll go BPA. Jaden Kennedy probably for me. Him or Desmond Reed, but they really don't need a running back. I don't mind Colby Young. I'm gonna go Jaden Kennedy, depth piece in that corner room. Took two Oregon players. All right. Wow, that was a big Big Ten draft. That was straight Big Ten SEC, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a lot of Big Ten. So this is an interesting draft. I didn't expect the trade, but we did. I think it works out for us, and I actually kind of like what we did with the trade. Get Sonny Styles really raises that linebacker room ceiling. Get Caleb Banks goes into that IDL room immediately. Derek Moore, I think, increases the talent in the edge room as well. I think all of these three guys are like potential future starters for a good while. Bo Stevens, I think, has starter potential. Isaiah World, not really. More developmental for me. We did trade back from 104, got 130, 151. That's where we got Bo Stevens at. 143 was our pick. We picked up 151 in that trade with the Dolphins and picked up Michael Taft. And we got Pat Coogan and Jaden Kennedy. And now for the last scenario I want to play with. This is interesting, and it's something I've been doing in my full first round, 2 round mock drafts. We're gonna actually trade back into the first round. Now, I will say this. I'm gonna go ahead and pre-fire the trade here before the draft starts. That way we can go ahead and do it. And the spot that I've kind of been looking at moving up to is with was it the Bears or the Bills? I think it's the Bills. No? Oh, it's the no, it's not the Patriots either. Because I don't think 49ers and Seahawks are realistic. I don't think the Texans would be interested in it because they already have 4 early picks anyways. Um, I think it's I think it's the Bills, man. Yeah, I think it's usually the Bills. So I gotta I'll trade draft pick chart. I gotta pull this up real quick just to make sure. So we're not trading 3, that's for sure. We would trade 34 though. So what do we have to make up for 34 good to go to 26? 700, 560, so 140, which would be pretty much pick 65, I think, probably. No, 65 is too much. What about 104? 104 is 86 points, and then I think you throw like a future fourth as well. That might not get it done in real life. It's going to get it done on the simulator. So, for video purposes, we're going to go ahead and do that. So, at pick 3, the scenario is we're going to go ahead and take an edge rusher. I do like Bain a little more than Bailey, so we're going to take Ruben Bain there at 3. And then we trade it back into the first round. Pick 26. We're going to get that 50-year option on him. We're going to take Ty Simpson, man. This is kind of what I was talking about the Ty Simpson scenario. Like I said a minute ago, I do think he is in play there at 34 if he is on the board still. But why would you not, with how expensive quarterbacks are now in today's league, especially if you think he's going to be your future starter, why would you not give up those extra picks, get back into the first round, and get that 50-year option on him? I think that makes a lot of sense. So we went Ruben Bain, we went Ty Simpson. I think this is a very good spot for us on the board here. If we wouldn't have went edge rusher, we would have went like Sonny Styles or Mauigoa here at 3. You would definitely take Joseph or Danny Ditta Sutton here. But I see Jennings Dunker sitting here. I do think he projects at guard at the next level, but I do think there's some tackle flexibility as well potentially. So I like that pick a lot with both of those being in need for me for the Cardinals. Now we're gonna wait a little while. Pick 143. We went edge rusher, we went quarterback, we went tackle. I think you kind of look IDL, maybe linebacker here. I think you kind of look BPA, to be honest. I think safety could potentially be in play. Um, and with me, I think this IDL, I think we can't get Taft later, but we can get some safeties I like Bishop Fitzgerald or Cole Wisniewski. Same with I'm fine with Zane Durant. I think even though I do think Keenan, Capehart, and Regis are all pretty good, but there's more IDLs I like. There's not a whole lot of linebackers I like left. Really just Elam Zor from TCU and Torian York. We'll go ahead and take Torian York here at pick 143 to add into that linebacker room. See if we can get one of those 2 safeties or one of those IDLs that we discussed there here at pick 183. Again, man, it's just so late in the draft that these are more likely depth pieces anyways. Um, I think I would because I do really like Skylar Gill Howard. I think we'll be able to get him at 217. If not, I think worst case scenario, we can take like James Thompson Jr. maybe or Brandon Cleveland. Um, and I would rank both of these guys over any of those IDLs that are left. So I do think it's more so of a BPA thing here, even though I would say that they could probably use an IDL a little more. Fitzgerald's more of like a free safety zone type of guy. Well, really both of them are, to be honest. I think I like Bishop Fitzgerald a little more than Cole Wisniewski. It's really close. I might be wrong on that. I might actually have Wisniewski ranked over Bishop Fitzgerald, but I know it's close and it's also like the 6th round, so you know. Um, And then IDL, man, I really don't like these guys that much, to be honest. So I'm trying to see what's here. Harold Perkins, maybe this time around instead of. You know what? Michael Wilson's an impending free agent. Marvin Harrison's been hurt a little bit, and Kendrick Bourne's kind of injury prone as well. Plus, he's kind of older. See Tyron Montgomery here, man. I'm going to take him. Wide receiver John Carroll had a really good Senior Bowl. I don't mind that. Him and Colby Young right there, I think would be in play for me. So the last draft here to end out the video. Third scenario we played with, and that is taking Ruben Bain, one of the edge rushers there at 3. We did trade back into the first round as well, give up a future fourth this year, and pick 34. I do think in real life you probably would have to give a little more than that, but for the video purposes, like I said, it works in the trade simulator. Sorry, mock draft simulator here, so we'll do that. We get Ty Simpson. Wow, PFF didn't mind this one that much outside of Bishop Fitzgerald. We get Ty Simpson at 26 when we trade back in. We get Jennings Dunker, I think, could play guard or tackle, like I mentioned. Torian York fit into that linebacker room as a depth piece. Bishop Fitzgerald fit into that safety room as a depth piece and potential maybe future starter development under Buda Baker. And then Tyron Montgomery just kind of like a depth piece to go into that wide receiver room with Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kendrick Bourne, Xavier Weaver, and everybody else that we mentioned earlier. So I appreciate you watching. I did say I was gonna get 2 videos out this past week, and I ended up not being able to. I'm gonna try to do that this week. My plan is to get this and a full 2 round mock draft, later in the week, maybe like Thursday, Friday time, and then we'll be into draft week after that. I'll do my last Steelers 7 round mock draft, and I'll do my final predictive mock on draft day. So appreciate you watching. And as always, thank you for all the love and support. And this draft cycle has been really fun, and I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.